Good afternoon, Mr. Witness, and welcome back. You may kindly take your seat. Mr. Witness, for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters, as a matter of routine too, I am to remind you that you are still under oath before I hand you over to Madam Chair for us to proceed. Thank you. Madam Chair, I hand over the witness to you for us to proceed.
Mr. Touray, we are welcome back.
Thank you, ma'am.
Counsel, can we...
Thank you. Mr. Touray, I'm referring you to the meetings of the General Council meeting held, minutes of the General Council meeting held on the 19th October 2022. Now this is back to the issue of Nde Sise Sanyang. One of the issues that were highlighted is that in the matter of outsourcing the conference center's restaurant, the chairman expressed reservation over the privilege given to Nde Sise Sanyang's allocation by the contract committee. He said the decision being made by the contract committee is not in line with best practices and has advised the committee to revoke the decision. He emphasized that Mrs. Nde Sise Sanyang is a nominated councillor representing the business community. And in view of that, allocating her will demonstrate conflict of interest. Now, what was your position in respect of this allocation?
Yeah, in the position of this allocation, because I found there was catering for the council.
She was what?
She was catering for council.
So is that for council meetings?
All council meetings, she was catering for it.
Does that include subcommittee meetings?
All.
What about day-to-day council staff?
No.
Okay. And how did she, okay, you met that system there.
Yes.
Did you find out how that happened?
Actually, she was closer to us.
Okay.
So it was easier for us to request for catering from her. And secondly, being closer to us at times, she do give it to us on credit too. And whenever we have the money, we pay her back.
Did that particular agreement go through GPPA or procurement processes?
For her supplying us?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
It did?
Yes, actually, I don't think there is anything that I can say whether it is in line with GPPA.
Why is that?
We can prepare an agreement with her.
She supplies the council, right?
Yes.
And you pay her?
Yes.
And the money you use to pay her is public funds?
Yes.
Okay, so what is the process?
What
is the procurement process? Where public funds are being used?
It should take the due process of procurement.
Okay, so did he take the due process?
No.
Okay. Now, it says further, Mrs. Nde Sise Sanyang, whose issue was a subject of discussion, indicated that she's the nominated business representative at the council and has no intention for a further term. She disclosed that where her Ramadan restaurant is, she was allocated when the property was not transferred to the council, and does not think she should be denied allocation for the restaurant at the conference center. Now, why is she at the meeting where her issue is being discussed and she's being allowed to convince the rest of the members as to why she should not be denied the allocation?
In those meetings that I can remember, they doesn't talk.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I said in those meetings, I cannot remember where they talk about to defend.
I just read to you what she said.
Yes.
This particular meeting, she said, the minutes read, Mrs. Nde Sise Sanyang, whose issue was a subject of discussion, indicated that she is the nominated business representative at the council and has no intention for further time. She disclosed that where her Ramadan restaurant is, she was allocated when the property was not transferred to the council, and does not think she should be denied allocation for the restaurant at the conference center.
Yes.
So she was at that meeting.
Yes.
where the agenda item was about her.
Yes.
And the chair said that there's a conflict of interest because of her position as a councillor, and she should not be granted that allocation.
Yes.
Now, at that same meeting, she's convincing the rest of the council why she should be granted that. Do you see the problem with that?
Actually, as far as he is a nominated councillor, there will be some conflict of interest there.
There's conflict of interest.
Yes.
Now, the other 3 people that applied, were they given an opportunity to speak to the councillors?
No.
So only she had that opportunity because of her position,
Yes.
and she was still granted the allocation.
Exactly. Yes.
So she's currently at the restaurant.
No. The contract is terminated after a few months.
After a few months, what
Yes.
happened?
Actually, we finally decided to terminate the contract so that it can be used by the GTHI institution, who we are training some personnel there, youths there. So they wanted to use the restaurant. So finally, the contract was terminated.
Can we get a copy of the contract?
I think it is at the office there in.
Yes, I mean, note it down so that you can provide us with a copy. The contract.
The copy of the contract.
Yes. Yes.
It is noted.
When you terminated the contract, was it in writing?
Yes, chairman advised us to write. It was in the minutes that we should write. Yes, we wrote.
You wrote?
Yes.
Can we also have a copy of that? What was the ground for termination?
Yeah, because in the contracts agreement, it is there that whenever we need the center, the contract can be terminated. That was what was in the contract agreement.
Okay. And did she invest anything into the restaurant?
No,
So she just had to evacuate.
exactly.
And she was happy to do that?
Exactly, she was happy.
Okay. Can you just note down the letter, please? Did she pay rent?
Yes.
How much?
I cannot actually remember unless I go back and look at the records.
Okay.
It is in the contract agreement too.
Yes.
We can
it
get
should
the
be.
information there.
Pardon?
You can get the information in the contract agreement.
Yes, when you provide the agreement.
Okay.
Now, there was a solar lights distribution exercise, right? To the communities.
Solar?
Solar light distribution,
Yes.
okay. And how did that go? How did you decide which communities would get lights?
That discretion was used by the ward councillors.
It was what?
It was the ward councillors who are responsible to identify the areas where they should go in their various wards.
And who provided the lights?
It's the council.
The council bought the lights?
Yes.
Where did you buy it from?
It was in partnership with Unique Energy.
What do you mean when you say it was in partnership with Unique Energy?
A percentage was paid by council, a percentage was paid by Unique Energy, and a percentage was paid by Unido.
What percentage was paid by council?
I think it was 35% of the total cost of the
35%.
Yes.
And what about Unido and Unique Energy?
I cannot remember.
Would there be documentation about this project?
Yes, we have the agreement with them, the MOU that we have signed.
Okay, can we have that, please? So you see, when I ask you who paid for it and you say the council paid for it,
Not 100%.
yes, you start off with that the council paid part, because otherwise it looks like the council paid for everything.
Okay.
Thank you. So, are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So some of the comments about that project were, the councillor for Quinella Ward, Mr. Seedy Sidiba, asked how was the distribution of the solar lamps to the communities done. The chairman of the development committee, Mr. Almamo AKCC, responded that the committee received a list from the chairman of the council indicating the names of the communities to benefit from the solar project. And based on that list, the committee worked on it and prepared the final list for installation. Mr. Seedy Sidiba submitted that it seems that the development committee was dictated by the chairman instead of the committee deciding for themselves. Now, for the rest of that page, on the second page, there were different ward councillors complaining that their wards did not benefit from this. And essentially, everybody was saying that it's the chairman that gave a list without consulting the committee, and that was the list that was followed. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, actually, a list was provided by the chairman in consultation with the chairman of the establishment committee. Sorry, the chairman of the development committee.
Who's the chairman of the development committee?
Is Almamo CC.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll read the rest of that then. It says the vice chairman, who doubles as the chairman of the development committee, dispelled Councillor Diba's submission and had further indicated that if they had been dictated by the chairman, they would not have met over the issue. Mr. Mfamara Sedikan of Jaduma Ward lamented that none of the communities in his ward benefited from the solar project and would like the chairman of the development committee to tell the council how the distribution was done. The chairman of the development committee, Mr. Almama AKCC, gave similar response to Councillor Sedikan as he did to Mr. Seedy Sidiba. He further indicated that the distribution was done through the list sent to them by the chairman, which they made some adjustments. Mr. Momodumane of Kiang Banta Ward asserted that he knows the remote communities in his ward and should have been consulted before distribution is effected by the development committee. The chairman stated that he had consulted Mr. Seedy Sidiba and Mr. Momodumane before the development committee met over the issue. Mr. Momodumane indicated that if he was consulted earlier, battling would not benefit. He said Sandeng and Jamaru are hard to reach communities and should therefore benefit from the project. Most of the councillors are giving the same complaints, that they were not consulted about their wards. So it's the chairman that made a list, and the chairperson of the development committee amended it slightly, and that was it. So nobody else was consulted. I think even you complained. It says the CEO lamented that the securities in the Soma market were not consulted and are very key in the process. He said they know where lamps should be installed in the market area.
That happened, yes.
So nobody else was consulted. It was just those two individuals who decided.
Yes, for the distribution.
Pardon? On the distribution, yes.
Yes, for the distribution, yes.
How many lights were these?
It was about 120.
And how many communities benefited?
I cannot actually remember the number of communities. I know it was divided into the various wards.
You know the what, sir?
The wards.
Okay, how many wards benefited?
I can say almost 80% of the wards have benefited.
So all the rest of you all the rest of the councillors that were complaining were just a minority?
Yes, some were complaining not actually that they didn't benefit, but they were not consulted. And the villages which were identified as councillors, they should be informed. They identify their own communities to say this is where this particular land should be taken to. So that's the reason why some of those councillors were complaining.
And what about you, your complaint? Did the market get any lights?
Actually, that was my concern, no.
Okay. And there were also other communities that didn't get any. Anyway, do you have the distribution list?
Unless I check it at the office there.
All right, please note it down.
It's noted.
Yes.
It's noted.
All right.
You can.
Okay. I'm going to give you some files, and I'd like you to identify which files they are so that we can tender them. If you can just read out the files that you have.
The establishment committee meeting file,
Okay.
contracts 2020-2021,
Okay.
development committee, bank statements, contracts committee.
Does that one just say contracts committee? Because the previous one was contracts committee 2020-2021. If it's just contracts committee, that's fine. I just need to be clear.
Yes,
Okay.
it's only contracts committee.
All right.
Budget proceedings, selection of finance committee, meeting minutes of Mansakonko 2018, 2019, 2021, 2022. Meeting minutes 2020, I don't know what is this other one.
It's not clear.
Yeah, it's 2020, I don't know, to 20,
2020 what?
it is written there 2020, but the other end of it is not clear to us
Okay.
unless I, it's 2019, 2020, because I've seen one here 2019,
Okay. 2019, 2020.
2019, and the last one is 2020. It's 2020.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the files that have been identified by the witness. I apply that they be exhibited individually, each file. I'm grateful.
following files are to be admitted in evidence. They are as follows. The Development Committee minutes meeting. The file is admitted and marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/DCM/009.
Commission pleases.
The Establishment Committee minutes meeting. The file is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/ECM/010. The bank statements covering the period 2018 to 2023 are hereby admitted in the bundle marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/BS/011.
As Commission pleases.
The Contracts Committee minutes covering the period 2020 and 2021 are hereby admitted. The file is admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/CCM1/012.
As Commission pleases.
The Contracts Committee minutes file is hereby admitted in evidence marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/CCM2/013.
As Commission pleases.
The budget estimates covering the period 2019 and 2023 up to January 2023 is hereby admitted in evidence marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/budget estimates, that is BE/015.
As Commission pleases.
The file containing the minutes of council meeting covering the period 2019 to 2020 is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/GCM 2018 to 2020/016. The file containing the minutes of meeting of the Finance Committee, which is referred to on the file as Selection of Finance Committee, is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/SKT/MKAC/SFC/017.
As the Commission pleases. I'm grateful. Now, Mr. Touray,
Yes.
I refer you to the minutes of the Area Council emergency meeting held on Wednesday, 11th May, 2022. Now, at that meeting, there was an issue that was raised, and it's reading that the Director of Finance proposed for the fee attached to the monthly canteen rents at the new market to be fixed so that a situation can happen at the car park. So a situation that happened at the car park will not be replicated at the new market. According to Director Sala, canteens at the car park were priced at $1,500 as monthly rent. But after a few months, the tenants of the said facility wrote to the CEO and requested for reduction, which the CEO endorsed without involving the Finance Committee on the decision making. He said the CEO reduced the rent for the tenants at the park from $1,500 to $800, and this was initially agreed by the said tenants, and each of them paid 6 months' rent. Can you tell us how this happened?
Actually, what happened there was they had the agreement with the tenants.
Who had the agreements made?
What Salah told me,
Pardon?
the director of finance, what he told me was that they had the agreement that they should pay $1,500.
Okay.
And it's canteen issue. Everybody, whenever canteens are being allocated, you give them a price, whether reasonable or not. Some of them who have the power will just pay. But after paying, they realize that that amount was too much. And I believe the amount was too much. When they wrote to me, I consulted, in fact, whether it was written or verbal, but I consulted the finance committee chairman about it. And in fact, I think we had a meeting. It was discussed there that anyway, these people are our taxpayers. We should not levy taxes which they will be very high. It's a newly built canteen. We should give it to them at a lower rate, then gradually we can increase. And they accepted it. So that was the reason why we decided to change the amount. And looking at it, we have canteens inside the market. There is no canteen that was allocated paying 1,500.
So wait, you're saying that there was an agreement with the tenants that they should pay 1,500.
Yes.
And you said some of them paid
Yes.
and then came to complain to you.
Exactly.
And then you met with who?
In fact, it was tabled at a meeting, finance committee meeting, to inform them about it.
When would this be?
I cannot actually remember the date unless I go back and look at the records, but they were informed.
If we give you the meeting, the files for the minutes, you'd find it?
Actually, unless I check and see.
Okay. Registrar, please hand him the minutes so that he can check. Finance committee. So,
Can you clarify, is it the finance committee or the contracts committee that you are referring to?
No, actually, for the pricing, I think I discussed it with the finance committee. My memory cannot serve me, but it was tabled.
So, which means you will have to look at both the finance and the contracts committee
Yeah, exactly.
to ascertain whether you had the meeting.
Exactly.
Counsel, can we give him time so that when we rise, he can do that?
very
Because
well.
he will have to go through the file and check the whole minutes. So,
Very well.
yeah, you can put that question on hold, and then when we come back on Monday, he would be able to.
Okay. Now, the issue that was raised, they're saying that you reduced the rent without involving the finance committee. You were at this meeting, right?
Pardon?
Were you at this meeting?
The
This
meeting?
was the general council meeting. Were you at the meeting?
Yes, I was there.
So, but you didn't say anything like what you're saying now when they raised this issue.
My comment was not there.
You what?
Didn't I make any comment in that particular meeting?
You did. There was no comment from you. The chairman commented. The chairman indicated that it is the work of the finance committee to fix the monthly canteen rents at the new market and recommend for them to meet over it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think I had a meeting. I can fully remember I had
Yes,
a
but I'm
meeting.
saying you did not comment.
Actually, then I didn't comment there, but I had a meeting with the committee. where
So
it
if
was-
you had a meeting about this issue, wouldn't you have said something when it was brought up at the general council meeting?
Yes?
Okay, but you did not.
No?
So when did you have this meeting?
I
Was it
cannot-
after you already reduced the rent?
I cannot remember. Unless you give me a chance, let me have a look at the minutes. I
Okay,
think
but
I-
was it after the rent had already been reduced? Because as at this meeting, the rent was already reduced.
Yeah, it can be true, yes.
So you had the meeting with them after you reduced the rent.
Actually, I cannot remember how it all went about. But
So
I
this
know
meeting was held on the 11th of May, 2022. As at this date, you had reduced the rent from $1,500 to $800,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Now, you're saying that you had a meeting with the finance committee and they agreed that you can reduce the rent.
yes.
As at this date, that you had already reduced the rent, they're saying that the finance committee was not aware.
Anyway, unless I check on the minutes. but it was tabled in one of our minutes that I can remember.
Okay,
And
so
I explained
please
it to
note it
them.
down so that you can look for it, and if you
Yes.
don't have it in
We
these
discussed
files, you
about it.
provide it.
It's noted.
Now, who came up with the 1,500 rent in the first place?
I think it was Salah.
It was who?
Salah,
Who?
the director of finance then.
Okay, by GB Sala.
Yes,
He came up with the amount by himself?
I hope so.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I get the answer. You hope so, you know so, or you don't know? Because remember, you're telling us facts, so things that happened, not things that you think happened. Who came up with the rental amount?
It was the director of finance.
And how did he make this decision by himself?
Actually, I cannot remember because Salah at times he can just sit down and think of anything. So we have to be there to put him through.
So when Salah sits down and thinks of anything, you just let it go? Were you not aware that he had fixed an amount for the rent?
Yeah, actually, I think it was after the payment of the tenants who were allocated. That was the time I received the complaint from
That's
them.
when you received what?
That was the time I received the report from them that the amount that was charged was very high because there are no canteens in the whole of Jara on the area council that is paying 1,500. So they were complaining that they should not pay 1,500. So that was the reason why we peg it at the maximum rent that other canteens were paying, which is 800. We decided to peg them there for them to pay 800 too. And gradually we can see if at all they are having good sales, then we can see what is possible. We increase it gradually.
Now, did you further reduce the rental amount from $800?
No, it was from 1,500.
Pardon?
It was from 1,500 to 800.
So you didn't reduce it further?
No, I cannot remember. For the ones at the car park.
So this is the new market rent, right?
Okay. The new market,
This is yes, the Director of Finance proposed for the fee attached to the monthly canteen rents at the new market to be fixed, so that a situation that happened at the car park will not happen again. So this is the rent for the new market canteens.
the new market was 500 that we have agreed.
Mr. Touray, everything that we've been discussing in the past 10 or 15 minutes has been about the new market canteens, that
Okay.
they were 1,500, you reduced them to 800.
Is that not the garage or the new market?
Do you need me to read again?
Yes.
Ah, okay, you're right. So it says, according to Director Sala, canteens at the car park were priced at 1,500 as monthly rent, and then CEO reduced them to 800. Okay, so that's what happened at the car park.
Yes.
So for the new market, what was the rent?
Actually, I cannot remember what they charge for, but we reduce it and
To how much?
to 500.
Okay.
And that too, we had a meeting.
Is it
And
the finance committee?
yes, I can remember. Yes.
Okay. Now, on page 5 of those same meeting minutes, it says Mr. Seedy Jadama of Julafar Ward lamented that the center is not tracking to expectations since the former CEO left, and this is due to administrative issues. He said the change of CEOs has adversely affected the council, and the situation is very unfortunate. This is further to all the complaints that they've been making about you.
That was which year? I
This
think
is still the same meeting minutes of 11th of May 2022. Then, under any other business, there was an issue about the council renting portion of the conference center to some people. Do you know about that?
some portion of, is it on the side of the accommodation?
Pardon?
Is it on accommodation?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
Yes, I think I can remember. I was once informed.
You were informed.
Yes.
Were you involved?
Yeah, but that was not possible. I cannot remember where it happened and it was successful.
Were you involved?
Yes.
Okay. So what happened? It's about the executive building for offices and residential.
Which executive building?
How many executive buildings does the conference center have?
Oh, the conference center, we have the VIP accommodation rooms of 6 rooms and we have the ordinary rooms.
Okay.
There's no executive, I don't know.
Okay. So let me read it for you. It says the chairman disclosed that the ECOWAS project, which will implement rural electricity expansion, came to the conference center and had expressed interest to rent the 6 executive rooms and few other rooms on the other block for residential and offices. So is it that some of you call them executive rooms and some of you call them something else?
We only have VIP rooms and the ordinary rooms.
So then which ones are the executive rooms that your meeting is discussing?
Anyway, the name is strange to me as executive rooms. Maybe they may be the VIP rooms as accommodation.
But you were at this meeting? Were you at this meeting?
I cannot remember.
Okay, let's just check the attendance list. So it looks like this may be another meeting that you did not attend. So I think we've counted about 4 meetings now that you've been absent. General Council meetings. Okay, so you weren't at this meeting again. Now, they're saying that he said the Indians and a Gambian partner are to implement the project and had told them that he will inform the General Council about the issue. He said the duration of the contract is 1 year, and if Council agrees, the planning and finance departments will do the costing and submit to them. He asked the center manager whether the presence of the Indians will not affect his operations. The center manager responded that he has no problem with that, as they will make full payment of the rooms for a period of 1 year. He said his only worry is electricity consumption and has suggested if they can have their own electricity meter. The action point was the council endorsed for the Indians to occupy the executive building for offices and residential for 1 year on rental. So what happened to that? Did it happen?
No, I cannot remember. It didn't happen.
Nothing happened?
No.
Do you know why?
No, I don't know.
So you remember about this, even though you were not at the meeting? You remember this particular issue?
Actually, I didn't receive any correspondence about it.
Do you know about this issue? Did you know that there were people that wanted to rent, if you say the VIP rooms and some other residential, some other parts for offices and residents?
But this maybe chairman must have informed me verbally.
I'm asking you, do you know about it?
Actually, I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Yeah, thank you. Now, Registrar, could you please hand the witness the budget envelope? So, were you aware of the letter that was sent in 2022 by your counsel asking you to be removed?
Yes.
And did you respond to that letter?
They didn't write to me. I didn't respond.
You were copied?
Yes.
Okay, so let me read this to you. So 3rd February 2022, they wrote to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, and they copied you, the Chairperson of Local Government Service Commission, and it's headed Replacement of Chief Executive Officer Seedy Touray. The General Council of Mansakonko Area Council convened a meeting on Wednesday, 2nd February 2022, and deliberated on its continuous dissatisfaction on the unattractive conduct of the Chief Executive Officer Seedy Touray. This is one of the other meetings that you also did not attend. Now, they've said Mansakonko Area Council has ever been one of the best performing councils in the Gambia until Seedy Touray came. Currently, the Mansakonko Area Council is not only dull, but seriously underperforming compared to other local councils, even though our revenue has increased from last year, coupled with period support from the ministry. Our magnificent facilities like the Mansakonko Area Council Conference Center and the main office complex are continuously dropping in quality. The morale of the general office, including the councillors, has negatively dropped. That has created complete mishandling of tasks and complications in the chain of command in the office. The Mr. Touray, even though seldom concentrate on the work of Mansakonko Area Council or sit in the office, he takes absolute control of office resources, such that the office is dormant whenever he travels or he must first be contacted before anything can happen. Staff independence is a complete nightmare, that staff report threats from the CEO. These cannot give any healthy work environment or good work results for the council. Despite the fact that MKAC is investing on the CEO, he still cannot commit himself to deliver good results for the council, which is unbelievable. Meanwhile, the concerns of the General Council are as follows. CEO has systematically avoided attending General Council meetings and even stopped the traditional senior management meeting that the council used to hold every Monday before he came. This is causing information gap, leading to misunderstanding among action officers and low performance with slow actions. CEO Touray is reporting to neither the chairman nor the General Council on anything at all, not even reports from the Technical Advisory Committee on the region. Laissez-faire and negligent attitude to work, which has landed Mansakonko Area Council into serious embarrassment recently. For example, wrong submissions at the National Assembly PAC, resulting into rejection. Poor performance during the 2022 budget bilateral. Poor handling of draft audit report of the Mansakonko Area Council 2019 audit. Poor management of the various accounts and resources of Mansakonko Area Council as per General Council resolutions. Late payment of salaries. 3 days into February, MKAC salary for January is still not paid. Never happened since this current council took over in May 2018. Deliberate, frequent shortage of office equipment, stationery and sanitary materials. Poor information sharing and communication of actions. Cooperation and respect for authority. Lack basic discipline to honor and implement recommendations and resolutions of the Mansakonko Area Council General Council. Deliberately and single-handedly embarking on projects. Effecting expenditures without adhering to the basic procedures. Lack of ability to coordinate, manage, and administer the council as a unit. Rather, CEO working in silos. Consequently, CEO Touray is completely disconnected with the realities and aspirations of his own council. Lack of ability to envision, plan, and implement activities to the interest of the council. As a result, MKAC did not implement even a single community intervention in 11 months under Mr. Touray's watch, even though MKAC has a steady improved revenue during this period. Deliberate negligence of CEO Touray to memos from the chairman relating to concerns of the General Council and general welfare of council staff and taxpayers. It is unfortunate and with regrets that the CEO can attract this long list of appraisal from his governance team. Considering the unbearable concerns catalogued above and many other unmentioned here, and the endless consequences these may generate, the General Council of Mansakonko Area Council results as follows. The CEO, Mr. Seedy Touray, is immediately replaced to avoid serious institutional crisis and resentment from our taxpayers. So is the gist of the letter. It's 3 pages. Now, it was minuted by I believe the permanent secretary, that a copy should be forwarded to you so that you could react to it before they forward the matter to the Local Government Service Commission. Did the permanent secretary send you a copy?
No,
You never received a copy of this letter?
from the chairman.
Sorry?
From the chairman,
You received from the chairman?
yes.
So when I asked you whether the council sent you, you said no. I had to show you that you were copied.
Yeah, the chairman wrote to the permanent secretary and copied me.
Yes. So you received the copy?
Yes, from the chairman, yes.
Okay. Did you react to this letter?
Actually, I think the ministry should write to me.
The who?
The ministry.
Did you have anything to respond to any of the matters set out in this letter?
Actually, I know all what he is writing. Some of them are there, he's just writing them. But the staff on the ground there will be at a better position.
The staff on the ground, what?
At the council there knows what my capabilities are. Chairman doesn't appreciate me by then. I don't know the reason behind it. Actually, that I don't know.
So did you respond to any of the matters set out in the letter?
Actually, I was waiting on my ministry to write to me because that's what I was expecting. When they write to me, that's the time I should write to my ministry and not to him.
Okay, so you didn't have anything to respond to the letter, to the council?
Because ministry, no, because he didn't write to me. Had it been he wrote to me directly, I would have responded.
So I'm asking you, you didn't respond because they didn't write direct to you because you were copied?
Yes.
Not because you didn't have anything to respond to?
Yes, because he wrote to my employer.
Is it the minister that employed you?
I'm appointed by the ministry, yes.
The ministry
Through
or the
the-
Local Government Service Commission?
Yeah, but by then, the letter was written by the permanent secretary by then.
On behalf of the Local Government Service Commission?
Exactly, yes.
So it's not the ministry?
Yeah, okay.
Pardon?
Yes. But by then, all correspondence are directly going to the permanent secretary. And when they are
So
writing,
it's correspondence that's directed through the permanent
and when
secretary?
they are writing, it's from the permanent secretary's office too, by then.
And when they're writing, do they not say we are directed by the Local Government Service Commission to, and then tell you what it is they're telling you?
Yeah, during those days, I don't think it was in that way.
Do you have your letter?
Which of the letters? The one written
The
by-
one that appointed you, since you're saying that it's the ministry that employed you.
My appointment, the time I was appointed, there was no service commission. In 1988.
In 19 what?
88.
When were you made CEO?
In 2013.
Okay. That's fine. Sure.
Mr. Touray, do you think it was prudent on your side not to have responded to the serious allegations made by the chairman? Don't you think it should have been good, even if your employer did not write, because you were copied, you make a response in your own defense?
Actually, yes, I should have responded. But also, I believe maybe the ministry may be at a better position to know whether all what he was writing was the actual thing there. Because I have my staff there.
No, Mr. Touray, the issue is how would you expect the ministry to know when you are supposed to be on top of issues? And the chairman, who comes perhaps to the council, he is not running the council day to day, am I correct?
Yes.
You are the one that is running the council. So if the chairman can sit down, take his time, writes to you this kind of letter, don't you think it was very, very necessary on your side, you understand, to bring out all the issues and respond to him so that you have a defense?
Yes.
Was that not right?
Yes, it was right.
So you thought it was not necessary?
I thought that I was waiting on the permanent secretary because.
But why would you wait for the permanent secretary?
Yeah,
What if the, I mean, how would you, if the permanent secretary is written to, is your employer, don't you think you should have made sure you had something from the permanent secretary. Where you don't have something from the permanent secretary, you were copied, you reply.
Yes.
Because it's your name that is being mentioned.
Exactly.
And so many things were outlined about your lack of performance in the council. And you are saying the staff are there to know whether you were doing your job or not. For example, we may not have the opportunity to bring all the staff and ask them whether CDK Touray was doing his job. If you had responded, we would see, you know, whether what he is saying is true or is false. Is that not so?
Yes.
So it is an error on your side not to have responded to defend yourself.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think you were being bullied by the chairman, or you were not the one that was doing your job? Given everything we have seen here and what you have told us. Because we have seen a lot of letters being lot of information in minutes of meetings, different committees, the chairman raising issues. And you thought it was not prudent to respond to all of these issues?
Yeah, because...
No, answer my first question. I said, were you bullied, or what they said about you was right?
I can term it to be yes, I was bullied.
Eh?
I can say yes, I was bullied.
That you disagree with everything that is contained in these different minutes that have been read to you, and the council really took her time to read whole minutes to you?
Yes, so many things happen.
No, we don't want to get into the story, but then you are the CEO.
Yes.
You are responsible.
Yes.
The law, the act, you referred me to the act.
Yes.
And you saw exactly what your responsibility is, particularly the financial manual. And it even said where the staff under you are not working, you will be liable.
Yes.
To their mistakes, their inaction, their omissions, their errors. You are CEO.
Yes.
And you saw all that.
Yes.
So even if you had issues with the chairman, don't you think it would have clicked on your brain that I should do X, Y, and Z to exonerate myself from allegations or from being painted as incompetent?
Yes.
So it is your lapse.
Yes, I agree, yes.
Thank you. Counsel, you can proceed.
I'm going to. Mr. Touray, can we go through the budget for 2023? Should be contained in that envelope. We're just going to touch on a few points there. When you prepare the budget, is there a resolution to approve that particular budget by the council?
By the?
Council.
Yes.
Okay. Where or who would have that resolution?
Yeah, what usually happens is we do have our general council meeting proposing for the budget.
Okay.
And when it is verified by the general council, we do some of the adjustments that they want us to do. And finally, they adopt it. When it is adopted, then we forward it to the ministry for bilateral, where they are also going to review and look at all the errors and recommend, advise us what we should do. Then finally we bring it back to the General Council for them to be aware.
So it would be contained in meeting minutes, the adoption?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll give you the file later so that you can look for those and identify them for us.
Okay.
So I think
Please note that, yes?
Yes, yes.
So that you will not forget.
It is noted.
Okay. Now, on the second page of the budget, the 2023 budget, all right, under personnel emoluments,
Yes.
so you've said that the next year's budget is forecasted based on the performance from the year before, right? Is that how you determine what is going to be in the next year's budget?
On the side of emolument, are you talking of?
Pardon?
Is it on the side of emolument?
Generally, how do you decide what's going to be contained in the estimate?
For that of the emolument, every year, every civil servant is moved from one grade point to another point.
You move your staff up a grade every year.
Not to a grade.
Not
For
what?
instance, a particular grade has different points. Grade 1.1, 1.2, 0.3, up to 0.8.
Okay, so what is usually the difference in the pay?
The difference there is the integrated pay scale. When we take it, the grade you are and the grade point you are, the following year you should be moved to another grade point.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That grade point, how much on average is that point in dollars?
Actually, unless I look at the integrated pay scale, it's not that much.
So would it be about $200?
Yes, about that. Would be
About
good.
$200
Yes,
for each of your staff, right?
yes.
Okay. So on the chairman's basic salaries and allowances, is that for just the chairman or for the chairman and the councillors?
It's chairman and the councillors.
Chairman and the councillors. Okay, so the approved budget for 2022 for the chairman's basic salaries was $984,000. Your actuals as at September 2022 was $492,000, right? Your estimate for 2023 was $1,102,000 is 976. Sorry, $1,102,976.
Yes.
So how do you reconcile that huge gap between your actuals for 2022 and the estimate for 2023?
Yeah, because looking at 2023, a vacant position was advertised. And
For councillors
no,
and chairman.
yes, this particular budget line is on the chairman's office. That's the council clerk. So you put the council clerk on the chairman's office. That was the reason why it reaches to this amount, because the council clerk is about grade 10, I don't know, grade 11. So annually, that
And how much is grade 10 salary?
actually I cannot remember unless I look at the integrated pay scale.
Okay.
And
You're on grade 12.
yes, who me?
You're on grade 12.
I'm on grade 12 fix.
Yes. And your basic is about 30,000. So,
No.
sorry, your entire salary is about 30,000, right?
Net take away, yes.
Okay. So grade 10 would be what, about 20, 15?
No, it's less than that.
Less than 15?
Yes. Okay, mine, I'm paid an allowance, if miss allowance, that all CEOs are benefiting.
Okay, so this clerk would be about 10,000?
Yes, about 10,000.
Okay. So
That's about
10,000, 12 months, that would be the 112?
Yes, plus the allowances. Because he should
So
be
we're
paid.
talking about take home. I said your entire salary is
Okay.
30,000. So why would I be talking about basic only for the clerk? How much would be the clerk's take home?
The
Clerk
yeah,
at grade 10.
Actually, I cannot know what should be her net takeaway unless I look at the payroll.
Okay. Can you provide? Do you have a clerk now?
Pardon?
Does the council have a clerk now?
A what? A clerk, not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Was the position advertised?
Yeah, it was advertised by the Service Commission.
And what happened?
I think the applicants didn't meet the criteria. So
Okay.
we are expecting it to be advertised again.
All right. Now your allowances moved from 300,000 as actual in September 2022 to 698,400 as the budget estimate for 2023. So when your grade goes up by a point, does your allowance also increase?
No.
So then why do you have double the allowance from the actual for the year before?
Am I talking about the actual for 2022?
So your actual at 2022 is as at September,
Yes.
right? So from January to September, you've paid 300,000 in allowances. So you're definitely not spending more than another 100,000 from September to December. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so say 400,000. Now your budget estimate for allowances for the following year is 698,000. So say 700,000, right?
Yes.
Why that 300,000 increase?
Actually, for these actual figures, there must have been an error, that I believe. The actual figures should not have been this amount. Looking at it as far as they are fixed payments. Like
It would be an error on whose part?
on our side,
When you say our, who exactly? On your side?
yes.
Would that be for the entire budget?
No, actually, it is only for this actual amount that.
Just for the allowances?
Yes.
Okay. So CEO's office administration. What does that entail? That's you, your secretaries, and who?
I think admin director was also budgeted for.
Who?
The admin director. Which
Admin director.
Yes.
That's under your office.
The admin officer is under my office, and we also wrote to the Service Commission concerning about the position of an admin director.
Okay. So your actual as at, so okay, it's you, your admin director, and who else?
The admin officer,
You only have one person there.
the admin officer, and the admin director
Who's the admin officer?
is Bua.
Yes, that's the one you propose should be your admin director.
Yes.
So you didn't have another office. Did you write to ask for an admin officer?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, not for admin officer, but for director of admin.
You wrote for Bua Kinte to be made director of admin.
Yes.
You didn't ask for a position of admin officer as well.
No.
So you only have one person in that office.
Yes. right
Exactly.
now.
So now it's Bua Kinte, it's you, and whom?
But we budgeted for the director of admin position.
You budgeted for the position that you wanted him to obtain.
Yes.
You didn't budget for another admin officer. You didn't ask for another admin officer. So
Yes.
if he got the position of director, you'd have an admin office empty.
Yes.
Yes, you didn't cater for an admin officer.
No.
So it would still be just the director, whoever your admin is, whether it's still him as admin officer or your director, you, and whom?
We have, I think by then I was having about 3 secretaries.
No, you had 2 secretaries. End of 2022?
No, it's more than 2. The chairman's office, there are 2 secretaries.
The
who are-
chairman's office emoluments are on top.
No, there are 2 secretaries there who are directly on the admin.
Sorry. The chairman's office has 2 secretaries.
They are all on the admin in the budget. We only have the council clerk who is on the chairman's office.
So you have 2 secretaries for the chairman and you have 3 secretaries for yourself.
Then yes.
Okay. Now how many secretaries does the chairman have?
Still 2 is there.
What are the 2 doing?
One has been redeployed as media officer, media clerk.
Now that deployment even was questioned, right? Because you don't have a position for media clerk in the service scheme of service. But you still deployed him there,
Yes.
right? Did you seek approval from the Service Commission,
No.
from the ministry?
No.
So you're creating positions by yourself.
Yeah, he was given the title before I come in there. He was responsible of media.
He wasn't given the title. You asked that he be officially made media clerk.
That was the title given to him.
Pardon?
That was the title given to him.
That was the time you knew him.
That was the title given. And in fact, I think in his appointment, he was a media officer.
if he was appointed media officer, why did you need to redeploy him and redesignate him as media officer?
Because he was doing the secretarial work for the chairman too. So
So that's what I'm saying. So if he was appointed as media officer when he came to the council, you wouldn't need to redesignate him as media officer, is that right?
Yes,
So he was appointed as a secretary,
yes.
and then you redesignated him as media officer.
Nor he was appointed as a secretary responsible of media coverage of council activities. Then when I redeploy him, he is now the IT officer. I'm responsible of media coverage.
Sorry. Mr. Secretary, can I please have the establishment committee file? Thank you. Establishment. Okay, so he was appointed as a data entry clerk, right?
Okay.
Let me just go through that from the beginning. So this is establishment committee meeting, Monday, 31st October 2022. The chairman of Establishment Committee of Mansakonko Area Council, Mr. Momodu Mane, informed colleagues that he received a letter from Mr. Modikaba requesting for council to attach allowance to his media coverages. He said the committee will look at whether to create an allowance for him or be appointed as media officer. Having heard from the chairman of the Establishment Committee, the chief executive officer of the council requested from the admin officer to bring Modikaba's personal file, and during the inspection of the file, the following were observed. The position of data entry clerk is not the current need of Mansakonko Area Council. No term of reference of data entry clerk was included in the appointment letter of Modikaba as data entry clerk. In view of the above, the committee, in consultation with the CEO, recommended for the redeployment of Mr. Modikaba from the position of data entry clerk to the position of information technology clerk, and will maintain his current grade of 4.8 with the allowances he receives monthly. It was also observed that media officer is not within the scheme of service of the councils. So you moved him to IT and provided him with an allowance? What exactly did you do?
Actually, I think he was maintaining the same allowances.
As data entry clerk?
Yes, he was paid transport allowance, so we still maintain the transport allowance.
So what about this media allowance that he wanted?
Actually, it can be part of his responsibilities as IT officer, so we just attach it to be part of his responsibilities.
So there was no additional allowance given to him?
No, he's receiving the usual allowances. I don't know house rent and transport allowance.
Okay. Sorry, there's something else that just caught my eye. You had toilets at the abattoir that was provided by UNICEF.
Yes.
How many toilets?
I think it's about 4.
4 toilets.
Yes.
2 for men, 2 for women.
Yes.
Now you wanted 8 toilet attendants to be appointed for those 4 toilets.
Yes.
Why 8 toilet attendants?
8.
Yes, 8.
The total 8 is not for them. We have female and male. So for the female toilets, we can only have 2 there. And for the male toilets, we can also have 2 there. But I think the new market, we also need some toilet attendants there.
So there was nothing, it says the toilet at the abattoir was constructed by UNICEF and handed over to the council, and the new market has its own toilet facility within the market area.
Yes.
So they're within the same space? Are
No.
they within the same space?
It is only the main road that separates them. The market is on this other side. When you cross the road, you have the UNICEF toilet at this other side.
Okay, so the abattoir is on this side.
The abattoir is just
And
behind.
that has 4 toilets. How many are at the market?
The market, I think, I have seen 2 facilities there. Each facility is about 4 or 5 toilets.
Okay, so you appoint 8 toilet attendants for those 2.
Yes.
Didn't you have enough staff to redeploy?
As toilet attendant,
Yes. What grade is the toilet attendant?
I cannot remember their grade, but I think the minimum grade is about grade 4.
The Lumo grade, what, toilet attendants,
Yes,
is grade 4.
yes.
So these ones that you appointed, were they grade 4?
They are yet to be appointed, these ones. They are
They
yet
still
to
haven't been appointed.
No,
So the toilets provided by UNICEF are still, are they operational?
no, because the market is not fully functional. The market is not fully functional.
Why is that?
Actually, we allocated all the canteens, but because it's a new settlement, and people feel reluctant to leave where they are in town to go to that particular market site. So most of the canteens, we allocated them, but some of them still don't go there. And we, in fact, started terminating their contracts so that we can give it to people who are interested to be there.
Okay. Did you hire more security staff for the security department?
Yes,
How many?
I cannot actually remember the total, but maybe about 10.
What do they do?
They do secure council properties like the market.
I don't get your evidence. What did you say?
Yes, I said yes, the council police are appointed to secure council's property like the market, the Soma Central Market. We have some securities there. We have some securities at the center. We have some at the new market and at the main office and the chairman's residence in Mansakonko.
Yes.
So your actuals for the security department, basic salaries, September 2022 was 171,360. Then your budgeted for 2023 is 656,940. How does that happen? Because it looks like you're deliberately inflating your budget,
Not actually inflated.
1,360. And 30% of that will not give you 656,940. That's multiplying the 171 by 2 and something.
Yes, for this actual for 2022, I think this was also an error. It was not the correct figure.
The actual.
Yes.
You're saying that you spent more than 171,000 on salaries for your security department?
Yes.
How many security staff do you have?
I think it's about 10.
You have 10 security staff.
Yes.
And how many did you say at the council itself?
Pardon?
How many are at the council?
Council usually have 2.
Okay, so 2. One of the chairman's residence.
1,
Yes. At the market.
2,
Okay.
and the other market 2.
That's 7.
In fact, the central market usually is 3.
So that's 3 instead of 2?
Yeah, it's 3. For the central market, it's 3. And usually some of them used to go on off. Not that all of them work the same continuously.
What grade are they?
I cannot remember their grade because their grade varies from the chief police officer down. Their grade varies.
Okay, so what's their salary like? The regular security?
Actually, all of them are receiving almost over $4,000.
So 4,000. I still can't see how you reached 656,940.
Yeah, I think what we can do is I'm going to share the payroll with you.
You're going to share what?
The payroll.
Yes, please do
Yeah, I
that.
think we can get the right
If you can get us the documents that we requested for Monday.
This Monday,
Yes, this Monday.
will it not be very challenging for me to provide all these documents on Monday?
The documents exist, right?
Pardon?
The documents, they exist.
I have so many documents to provide, whether I can provide all these documents by Monday.
So you mean when we started asking you, you weren't looking for them yet?
No, because my concentration was on the commission here. I thought that after the completion of the sitting, I can go back and prepare everything and submit it.
Sorry, the chair was saying something.
Yes. What you do is you will go and check for the documents and bring the ones that are available, readily available to you. And then if you need to look for the other documents, you look for them. So
Okay.
that the following day you can get them across to us. I think it's time. So this is a convenient point to stop. We may rise.